folks, welcome back for another video. Today I'm showing you some of my Peace Dollars, Morgans, and also my Lucky Charm there in the middle. Alright, I have a couple of my books open and we'll go over some of my grades. As you can see, I tried to place some of my not so decent ones on the top here just to go through them quickly. I have my 1900 Morgan, very worn. I have no... This holder always pops open. I have no problem holding this coin with my bare hand. It's a lucky coin. Okay. If you want to hear the sound of silver. Wait 1 second. Okay, if you heard that. Okay. My lucky coin, very good date, and it's a New Orleans mint. Okay, I want to say that this is pretty good for someone looking to fill a low ball set, and I love this coin, and they have a pretty hefty feel to them when you actually get them in your hand. This is how they were circulated, you know, back when. Hand to hand. Okay, this has all the honest wear on it. Okay, Liberty is still legible, and we'll move on to the next coin. My 1921 Morgan. Okay, I set this aside. So these are all either average, circulated, or just cleaned or polished. Just scrap. You can consider some of them in that grade, especially this 1921. As you can see, that color discoloration, it has that polished look to it, so 9 times out of 10 that's a polished coin. Okay, moving on. 1923, this is average circulated, as you can tell. If I can get a flashlight on it, get the details on that. Okay, don't worry, we'll get to the better coins, and they're under this pile here. 1922, that's a better grade. I mean, wait, no, I'm sorry, that also has the polish. If I get a good angle, you can see what I'm talking about. You see that polished look to it? And here's an actual circulated uncleaned coin. This will set a grade. This one here will have a grade. This will just be considered to be cleaned and or / polished. As I look for my pin pointer, I'm gonna stubborn tool. Okay, I have 2 now. Moving on. 1923, average circulated. Okay, that's an honest coin. And I have an 1884 here. My Morgans will start fetching grades. So let's get rid of that. Actually, I'm sorry. Before I do that, this too has some sort of cleaning look to it, as you can see around all the stars. Let me get my pin pointer. Here, you can see the discoloration. At one point, this coin was cleaned. That's a good indicator, because you can definitely see all the black around all the devices on the coin. Okay, that indicates toning just in those dark areas, in depth. That's where the towel or rag couldn't get to at one point. Alright, but that's okay. See, I know that, and I purchased those coins under those circumstances, so I just happened to mix my good ones in here as well. Okay, so they will be sorted out eventually in due time. Here's about an EF. Oh, another one, for example, another clean. I must have gotten these for like 18 bucks or something. I think that's why I grabbed them. See the around the legends and the date, same deal. You can see the darker appearance there, and that'll indicate a cleaning as well. Okay, I'm sure of it, and it's already worn, so. Okay, no biggie on these. These, you can hold them all and not worry about it. Okay, these should be encapsulated because they do have grades on them, and they're good. I'm using the I already showed you my MS64 Morgan here in a previous video. Today I'm gonna just use it as a reference point. Okay, so here we have, through the camera lens, I'm looking at 1921. And here we'll have an actual grade. I want to get the right light for it. What I'll do is I'll put it here. We can examine the coin. Okay, it does have a tone to it, as you can see. It does have a darker coloring. Okay, that's why I'm using the MS64 as a reference. You can see the toning difference. So already I'm dropping all the way down to an EF. Okay, and excuse me. Well, based on the toning, see, grading is an art. According to the Annex grading standard, which is this book here, grading doesn't come down to an actual science. It's considered more to be an art. So it takes an artist to grade a coin with knowledge in the coin hobby. Okay, and 1921. So the toning, I would assume, okay, under MS65, I already read, no trace of wear, nearly as perfect as an MS67, except for a few additional minute bag marks. So that means just slight bag marks on the coin, and unevenly toned. Has full mint luster. So that's what this coin is lacking, and that's the word I've been meaning to say. Okay, the luster is just not quite there. Okay, and that drops the grade. Okay, it does have a beautiful detail to it. Okay, so I would drop the grade above that, and upon reading a page like this under EF40 to EF45, you'll see where the wears and all the high points on the surface of the coin start revealing themselves as your grades go higher. So under EF40 on the bottom, see, I always grade down and stop where your grade goes up, okay, where the things start lacking. Alright, so EF40, where shows on the obverse, where shows on hair above date, forehead and ear. Lines and hair are well detailed. Flat spots are visible on edges of cotton leaves. Cheek is lightly worn. Okay. So the cheek is lightly worn. Let's get a flashlight on that. Okay. On this particular coin, it's very worn. Okay. Didn't mention anything about luster. And flat spots are visible on edges of the leaves. Okay. Well, I do see some flat spots on top of the on the hat. Okay. But I don't see them on the edges of the leaves. Okay, so, well, one thing coincides with another, so I may have passed EF on that, but the coloring, in my opinion, plays a big role in your grade too. So you would go up in grade because of how uncirculated your coin may appear, and then you would go down because of coloration, luster, and those other a few important things that indicate a precise grade. Okay, so what was the other thing? Wear shows on hair above date. Okay, so above the date, the hair right at the bottom. Excuse me. No, I have sharp sharp detail. Very light wear, and above the ear. So there's wear there on the hairline. You'll see that in the higher grades above the ear. So let's move up to EF45. Choice. Okay, slight wear on the obverse. So before checking the back, let's get the front down packed first. Okay, on the obverse, slight wear appears on hair above date. Okay, forehead and ear. Yes, it definitely showed wear hair by the ear. Okay, so the hair above the ear showed wear. We already indicated that. So we're in the right spot. Lines in hair are well detailed and sharp. Yes. Slight flat spots are on edge of cotton leaves. There are minute signs of wear on cheek. Okay, so minute signs once I get a good cheek. Okay, so the cheek is worn, as you can see where the arrow is pointing on the picture. That'll show you where your wear is. So I honestly think here we are. We're in the right grade. And because of discoloration, it may drop down because the hair above the ear now is worn, obviously, and there are flat spots. Darn it, I have both hands occupied. But okay, take a look on top of right under Liberty. Okay, follow the hair down to the forehead, as if in the mid forehead. See all that hair there? It is actually worn. And on the bottom is worn in some spots. They're considered to be flat spots, as if you're hundreds of people's thumbs have worn it down, and it does. That's what happens to a coin. I have already showed you a good example on my 1900 Morgan that I held in my hand. That's what a coin looks like in long time travel, hand to hand. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. So we're just pinpointing all the high points, and we're just trying to throw a grade on it. Now, I did watch a PCGS video on how to grade, and I know, as I recall, the luster and the coloration do have a lot, play a big role in the grading process. Okay, I'm not an expert, but I have 20/20 vision, and I have an interest and a good eye for things, so I qualify. All right, so I'm gonna just settle that particular coin right there. We do have better coins to move forward on. Okay, so we'll stop right there in EF. I wouldn't send it in for grading because quickly 1921. We're under a Morgan dollar in the red book. We'll use this as a reference guide. Everything we're doing is just as a reference, okay? Nothing literal. If I wanted an expert's opinion, I would just send it in for grading. But this is just, I'm just trying to get a ballpark estimate, $37, so the grading fee wouldn't be worth grading that particular coin, especially because I'm feeling as though it's definitely in the EF section. Okay, so now we'll learn together as we go. And here we have the next highest grade, I think. So, the 1882. Okay, so we know where all the hair gets worn already in EF. So I've already passed that. This one has slight wear there. Okay, so maybe the next grade also has that. But the coloration, so we'll use the MS64 in the slab holder as a reference. So here you go. You see the brightness, which doesn't always mean everything, but I know an unevenly toned coin can be considered an MS65. But overall, this whole thing has toned. So therefore, it had passed in time, of course, since it's a lot older than a lot of coins. But let's move up and see what the AU grade is telling us. Okay, so the picture for the AU would be on the same page as the MS. Okay, before we get to AU 58, let's look at some of the lower grades. Okay, obverse for AU 50. That's where we are. AU 50 under obverse. Traces of wear show on hair above eye, ear, edges of cotton leaves. So we're still showing wear. And high upper fold of cap. Okay, that's the cap that I mentioned earlier. Okay, excuse me. Let me just put something under the book here, just to even it out. All right. So it does look good. Okay, so the on the cap, on the upper fold of the cap. So right there, you see the fold on the upper. So slight wear. I do have good detail, so I may be passing an AU 50. Partial detail is visible on tops of cotton balls. Okay, yes. Detail is visible. Okay. Luster is gone from cheek. Okay. No, my luster is there with this one. I know it's toned, but it's. I'm gonna say we're gonna pass this. Let's go to the reverse. Okay, we never did the reverse yet. Okay, fine. There are traces of wear on breast, top of legs, wingtips, and talons. Excuse me. Okay, so breast. Usually the breast from going over it with the coin dealer at one point. So traces of wear. So imagine. Yes, there are traces of wear. Alright, we'll use the MS64 as a reference guide as well. Okay, there. That's the MS64. Look at the detail on that, on the chest there. I have some detail, but just not like the MS64. But it's there. I'm going to consider it to be there, so we'll move up. Alright. AU 55. Slight trace of wear shows on hair above ear, eye, edges of cotton leaves, and high upper fold cap. Yes, we've been through it. Luster is fading from cheek. Okay, so the same as AU 55 choice. Surface. Okay, there. That's where we'll fail. Most of mint luster is still present. Okay. If anybody wants to know what mint luster is, it's the original patina on the coin. Okay, it's, I'm gonna say most of it, it's there, but slightly. As you can see, the highlighted areas is where you would, you know, is where you would indicate where, you know, the luster is still present, although marred by light bag marks and surface abrasion. So we do have surface abrasions. Okay. And the bag marks are just those, there's the abrasion on the 2 stars left of 1882. Okay. You'll even see the stars a little worn down, too. Very lightly. Although every year and every strike, okay, by now the big companies know which years had weaker strikes than the others. So that's an important role in grading as well. And there's the bag marks. Bag marks. Or just that scuff mark. That's what a bag. See on the cheek right there, that little, right to the right of the mouth, that little scuff. That's what a bag mark is. Okay, here's even my MS64 has bag marks on it. Those are bag marks, folks. This is an MS64. What you're looking at is a lot of bag marks right there. That's a good example. So they still qualify for a high grade, which is pretty good. I agree, because it's just not fair to degrade a coin for that. Bag mark is part of, is a big part of the hobby. Alright, and the coin are still beautiful. Alright, so I believe that's an important part of the art. AU, I'm going to just rest this coin right there. I'm not going to push it any further than that. So I'm already tapping out. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to just leave that. Sorry for moving this around. Excuse me. Now, the last two, quickly. These actually are important grades because these I would send in. Alright, I should have took more time on these. My 1884, okay. Now we know the hair above the ear. Look at the detail is still there, so it's not as worn as my 1880. I'm hoping my 1880 is a weaker strike. I don't know offhand. I haven't read on it, but I am planning to send these two in because there's a big price jump from. This is the important part of grading because when you get into the MS, okay, let's just put these right into the MS section, okay, and use my slab as a reference. Okay, boom. So MS a strictly under MS 60, a strictly uncirculated coin with no trace of wear but bag marks and other abrasions more obvious than for MS63, may have a few small rim mars and weakly struck spots, has full mint luster but may lack brilliance. Okay, so one of these is a little, so the brilliance, that's the word I was looking for earlier. The one to the left has more brilliance than the one to the right, okay, and the one to the left is very close to the brilliance on my MS64 already graded coin. But I'm hoping that my 1880 turns out to be an MS65 and this is an MS64. Alright, so we'll see about that. Alright, so bag marks, yes, as you can see. Once I get a good light on it and focus in. Yeah, we'll just. Okay, there, finally. Okay, camera. Their bag marks are all the scuff marks on the cheek. That's okay. That's passable. And the hair, the top of the hat. So we already passed all the AU grades because we do have sharp detail on the top of the cap. And MS65, no trace of wear. So here's where I get stuck. But both these coins are worth sending in because 1884 and 1880. Let's see, I know one of them is a New Orleans and one of them is a plain. I'm going to say my 1884 is a New Orleans, which is, and this is a plain 1880. So we'll go to the price guide, okay? Just as a reference point, folks. Okay, excuse my blurriness. 1884. All right, it's the page before this for both dates. Okay, the 1880 is here. It's on. Where's my pinpointer when I need it? Okay, so 1880. I know it's blurry. I'm just waiting for it to. Alright, calibrate 1880, and look at the price jump between an MS63 and an MS64 is an $80 difference. I know I'm going to land here. I'm hoping I land. Of course I'm hoping I land an MS64, but I'm probably going to settle for an MS63 on my 1880. And here, the 1884 would have to grade an MS64 for it to be worth sending in. 1884. Oh, excuse me. For a $75, slab, such as the one I already have in the slab. Okay, so 1880. This would be my best bet to go for a coin like this. And of course, if I put the phone down and examine it a little better with my flashlight, it'll just give me a little more confidence when sending it in. Alright, did some homework on I saved the best for last, my quarter eagle. Alright, there's a big price jump on this one too, especially on on an MS grade. So let me show you folks my quarter eagle, and the date is, you know, I have to put the light next to it just for you to see it. Alright, 1915, okay? And the important thing about this particular coin is that I bought it knowing it was an XF/AU coin. And upon studying it, I feel as though we're AU/MS. Okay? And here's why. Back to the Annex Standard Guide. I'll go to the quarter eagles. Okay, under the Indian. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, this is where I stand, right here, AU58. I'm in the right place. All the high points right here. The arrows showing on the cheekbone, okay? The top of the headdress. And headband. On the reverse feathers. Headband feathers, okay? These are all the feathers, okay? But it's pointing here. So I gave you 3 points. 1, 2, 3. All 3 arrows. So for an AU58, I'm going to have to check for wear with you right now on all 4 of these points. So the arrows are basically telling us where wear is going to show. Alright. For an AU, I would be so satisfied knowing that I had an AU58. And I'll show you the big price jump as soon as I can get a light on this. Yes, perfect. And again, a little more, that's a little more. Okay, so my cheekbone is there. I have full detail on my cheekbone. Everything pops, and you know what? I had a microscope with me the whole time. Everything pops on the cheekbone. The feathers on the... Okay, there it is. Oh my... Okay, look, check out the picture above it. You see? And the headdress and the feathers on the headband. So, once I get a good zoom. Okay. That's what makes me feel as though my coin is an AU58. Yes, there's very, very light wear. Okay. And the coloration is what makes me feel as though I am where I am with this grade. And that's okay. I purchased it from one of the most popular coin dealers in the entire... Actually, it is the #1 coin shop in the entire state. Okay? And I'm very comfortable, and everything is a guarantee. But I may have just picked the good one out of the batch, because I did pick out of 3 to 4 XF coins at the shop. And here, I'll flip this page. Okay, 1915. That's my date. We're past the VF, so I paid around VF price under 1915, and I'm going for a grade between AU and MS. So there's $100 margin, but for what I paid for it, there's $125 of a profit margin. Anything above that is a bonus. But I'm gonna leave it right there. Let me just show you the wing and the back of the reverse, and we'll seal. We'll close out, folks. The grade right there on the top of the on the eagle's wing. Okay. Excuse me as I do that. Has very little wear. Here it is. Excuse me. I have to tap tap the screen, then put the light on it. Shake the phone, maybe? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, okay. If you have to readjust your eyes, that'll indicate that there is a little wear on it, just to spot the little feathers on the top of the wing. That's where we're looking at, folks. Okay. And there is some sharp detail there, too, so... Alright. In person, it does look better from what I disclosed on the video. There you go. So I have most of it. But if I grade an MS, that would be terrific. The luster's there. I'm going to say that for sure. Okay. Let me see. And that's my quarter eagle. Thanks, folks. Thanks for